Books make you hope. Books make you dream. Books make you laugh. Books make you scream. This is the Books That Make You show, discussing books with authors and experts, unraveling the inner pages of all the books that help make us who we are. Hosted by Desiree Duffy.
It is time for the Books That Make You show, and I am your host, Desiree Duffy. Guess what we're talking about today? Books that make you weather the storm, metaphorically speaking, or maybe in reality. Don't we all just really love tales of courage and triumph? The ones where our heroes weather the storm and come out of a situation transformed. That is exactly what happened to our guest who is here with us today. Rajesh Naiksatam was born and raised in Mumbai, India. Now, here's the deal. At the age of 10, while he was on the playground, Raj was hit by a powerfully thrown javelin, like a big stick, and luckily the javelin wobbled right at the very last moment. It lost its momentum, and that fortunately left Raj with nothing more than a small half-inch hip wound. Then, later on, Raj came to the United States to pursue his master's degree in computer graphics at the School of Visual Arts in New York City, where one of his teachers was Chris Wedge, and Chris Wedge was the director of the movie Ice Age, which I must add is one of my all-time favorite movies. Now, Raj is also the author of a book, and that book is called The Cloudburst. The Will to Survive is a Force That Never Discriminates. And it's a book about this group of kids who get trapped by a monsoon, and they must overcome their fears and work together or face certain death. And though it's written as a narrative and it's fictionalized, it is based on two very true events. Raj, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Desiree.
You bet. So tell me, first I want to find out more about this real-life brush with death that you had as a child. You were 10 years old? And it was
10 years old, yeah.
And it was a javelin? Were you at a sporting event at your school on the playground? How did that happen?
Actually, it was the annual sports event that happens in the school, and people were practicing. And we were at one corner of the playground, and the older students were practicing on the other end. And it's somehow one of the older kids, he was, messing, or he was trying to fool around, and he threw the javelin. It was not on purpose. He just threw the javelin, and it just, it was misguided. It just came towards the end of the park playground where it shouldn't have gone. And I happened to be there, and people yelled saying, "Raj, watch out." And I looked at the javelin and I saw it coming. And at the last moment, I just made a decision to go perpendicular to the javelin, the trajectory of the javelin. Mm-hmm. And towards the end, it just wobbled and it, scratched, made a scratch on my hip, and it fell down. But then I fell down, and a bunch of people just ran towards me and picked me up, and they ran with me to the hospital. And I was all awake and everything. I knew what was going on, but the whole playground was scared, because they didn't know, whether I'd fallen dead or I was still alive. And that was something that, just people were so panicked, and they just wanting to help me. And I still feel two guys holding me in their arms and running to the hospital, because there was no time for the, calling the ambulance and this and that. But then, and the funny thing is, after I went to the hospital, they checked me out, and I came back to the school. The principal held me in her office. She asked me to stay there until my parents came in. and the entire school, all the students wanted to come and see what had happened, and they were peeking through the doors. I still remember it so distinctly.
Yeah, that's something that really imprints, especially when it happens at that age. And so now you got to tell me, because your book has children in it. So is that part of the inspiration and part of the theme of your writing, that these children weather the storm and they overcome? How does that all work together?
Actually, these kids that are going through this ordeal with the storm, I went through another event in school where we had gone to a picnic, school picnic, and we were in this hill station called Matheran in Mumbai. It's close to Mumbai. Mm-hmm. And we were about, maybe about 9 or 10 students, and we were in ninth standard or 10th standard, something like that. And what had happened, we had gone up the hill by a train. And then the teacher said, we will go down walking, come down walking. So we were walking down, and one of the teachers said, let's take a shortcut. So he said, if anybody wants to take a shortcut with me, you have to be responsible, and you have to, So we said, okay, we will come with you. So we went with him, and as we were going down, the whole terrain was so scary, and it was like at some places it was so deep, like maybe 50 feet deep down, and we were close to. Every kid had given up. They said we are going to die here and stuff like that, and most of the this dialogues in the book of the kids, they're actually coming from this real event that I went through with other kids, and that was scary. The teacher had told us after we came down safely that nobody should tell this happened to their parents, and not one kid told the story to their parents.
Oh, wow. Really, really. That's something else. And you're right. It's amazing how the events that shape our lives, those moments, they become infused in our writing. That's where it comes out. So tell me a little bit more about the book. Give us the setup, how these kids become trapped and what happens when they meet somebody who can help them out. And I especially like that you address the fact that it's a very, very diverse group of kids, and they must learn to work together, right?
Yes. These kids from, from all over actually one is from Scotland, another one is from US and, Iran, and all these kids, they happen to come together by this event, and they are actually taking shelter in this little shack, which is a kind of owned, or it's also a chai shop. It's a tea stall run by this family. It's a father, mother, and this little kid. Mm-hmm. And these kids, they come, there are 4 kids who are tourists. They are international kids who have come to visit Mumbai, and they are actually going to this place called it's a cave it's called Elephanta Caves, which is a place to visit when you are in Mumbai. So these kids are actually going to this Elephanta Caves, but they have to cross they have to take a boat from Mumbai harbor, and they have to go to, it's like about 2 hours, by boat. Mm-hmm. But the weather gets really bad, and then, the boatman says, we can't go further, you have to come back. And as they come back, they come back, and then the weather gets even worse. And then the parents are calling the guide. They're with the guide. The parents are calling the guide to bring them to the hotel. But as they are coming from Mumbai to northern part of Mumbai, they have taken a van hotel van to come back. But the van breaks down, and now they are stuck. But luckily, what happens is they take shelter in this shack, and there are other kids, the local kids, who want to see the rain. Mumbai rain is something like I wanted to do. Take a local bus and go around the city and see the rain. So these kids are doing the same thing. They're taking the bus and going around, and they happen to come to, they get off the bus, and they are very close to the shack. Mm-hmm. So now the rain is really, is falling cats and dogs, and they have to take shelter. And there's a teacher who's just finished her school, and she's waiting at the bus stop. So all these kids come to the bus stop, and now they have to find a place to get shelter from the rain. So they go to the shack. And as they are in the shack, the water level keeps rising. It rises all the way, it's about maybe 15 feet high. Mm-hmm. And the shack itself is actually a construction that they are demolishing in that part of the city. So it's a little house. It used to be a nice bungalow, but now it's it's destroyed, and it's a rickety place, and with the storm, it's going to fall any time. So now what do the kids do? If they stay in there and wait for the help to come, the house might fall and they will, drown. And if and there is no way to call anybody for help, because the only cell phone that the teacher has does not work.
And that's such an amazing drama, those decisions that they have to make. That's so enthralling. And I can definitely tell that there's a lot of metaphor going on here with being trapped in the rising water. And, I love the fact, too, that there's a teacher, a mentor, somebody there that can serve as a guiding force. So let's talk a little bit about some of the bigger themes in the book. I mean, what is it? What do you think, Raj? What is it about the human spirit that just makes it so resilient? We're able to figure things out, and we get ourselves out of tough situations like that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Actually, that's how we, in the event that the real event that I went through, nobody knew how to climb, or nobody had done any trekking or anything like that. But we figured out a way to come down the hill. I still don't know how I did it or how we did it, but we came down safely with this teacher. And believe me, we were looking at the teacher, and teacher was scared. He was scared for the kids because he was, sweating at times, and and it was we were looking at him, and we were getting scared, looking at him, not at the actual thing that we needed to do. But somehow we managed it. I don't really know how we did it, but we managed coming down the hill. And it took us 2 or 3 hours to come down. And we were at a point where, should we wait here and just, yell for help, or, just scream? But and a few, 2 or 3 people did it. And there was no way nobody could, hear us. So these kids are actually in a very similar situation. They are just in a different environment, and they each one finds a way. First they are fighting. They don't like each other. The international kids are, they're like, why did my parents bring me here? And then this one kid who is, he's a poor guy, poor kid who's lost his home because of this Enron scandal, and his family has come to Mumbai for justice, and he's just, a very well-off family, but they lost everything in a matter of 24 hours. They come to Mumbai, they are making a living in Mumbai. And now they're threatened with losing this also. So this kid, he's so mature. He's like trying to use everybody else's skill or their talent to save themselves from the situation.
And that's a great message of when people come together, despite their differences, that when they're faced with a situation where they have to, they can and will work together.
Yeah. That's what I faced, and that's what I'm trying to put in the book.
Mm-hmm. That's a great message to put out there. So tell me, what advice do you have then for people who are in the middle of weathering their own storm, metaphorically? Like, what advice do you have for people who are going through something that is threatening their life or a dangerous situation?
Well, it's not easy, but all I can say is to keep calm and try to get help from people around you and not panic. Mm-hmm. Just keep as calm as possible and think what resources you have around you and use them, to the best, because you don't know who is the one who's going to help you, because we are the whole world today with this environment changing and all this stuff happening. We think that in America we are privileged and all that stuff, but we only have this one earth. Mm-hmm. And what we do in America is affecting India and everywhere else. Like if we are driving carelessly and we are spending all this gasoline, somewhere else in the world, there is storms happening, there's climate is changing drastically, and they are suffering, and at some point it is going to come home. It's going to happen here.
We're all on the same planet. You're absolutely right.
We are all in the same boat. And we have to take care of each other. It's not like, earlier we used to think this is America, we are all safe. And it's not like that. Weather is telling us we are in a boat and we have to work together. That is the big picture of the book also.
Yeah, I appreciate that too, because the climate, the changes that are happening on our planet, the climate, weather, storms, they don't know borders.
Exactly.
That doesn't compute. So a disaster or a catastrophe can be happening someplace else in the world, and it does affect us all because we're all a member of one race, and that's the human race.
Right.
Now, your father, he inspired you as well, especially when it comes to the fact that you got your master's degree in computer graphics. You want to talk about him a little bit and about your schooling? And I absolutely must ask you about what it was like when one of your teachers, Chris Wedge, being the director of the movie Ice Age, what it was like working under him. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Actually, my father was a great inspiration because he first did not want me to come into his field. He wanted me to become an engineer, computer engineer. But I was, my head was into arts and I wanted to do arts. So we found a happy medium where I can do computer graphics, so computer art. And but I wanted to learn with him because he's one of the top visual effects artists in India, and I've seen him work, and I've gone on shoots with him. When he did advertisement, puppet animation, or object animation. I used to beg him to take me to the shoot. So I used to go to the shoot. Finally he said, come along. So I went with him. I learned a lot from him, just the patience, to be patient about what you want to do. Puppet animation it tests your patience to the ultimate.
I bet it does. That's got to be hard.
Yeah, it is like, you move one little thing and then you click a camera, you move the other thing and you click another frame, and, it's crazy. So he taught me a lot about patience, and that was something that I have used all my life. Working with Chris Wedge, it was interesting when I was working with him at school. I had a little short animation thing I was doing for thesis, and I have an accent, Indian accent. Mm-hmm. And when I was at school, I probably had even more of an accent. So he used to tease me with my accent. And he was very helpful. He was very inspirational for what I was trying to do. It was like a little story that I was telling. It's the story was about this little boy who finds a goat, and he's carrying that goat to his house. And there are three cunning men who want to steal the goat, and they devise a plan, and they spread themselves, and they one by one comes to him and they say, "Why are you carrying a donkey?" And he says, "It's not a donkey, it's a goat. I just found it. I'm taking it home so I can cook it." And then he walks further, and the other guy comes and he says, "Why are you carrying a donkey on your back?" So he says, "I'm not carrying a donkey, it's a goat." And then he walks further, and the third guy comes and says, "Why are you carrying a donkey on your back?" So he says, "Maybe this is a donkey," and he throws the goat away and he runs. And the three guys come and take the goat. So that was the story. That was a story I was trying to make in anime. I was trying to animate in school, and I was getting Chris to help me. And it was a good experience. It was, I would go back and do it all over again.
Oh, it sounds like it was amazing. And I can tell how the people who inspired you, teachers, your father, how that's also inspired your writing and inspired this story as well. So tell us where people can find it. The book, once again, the title is The Cloudburst. The will to survive is a force that never discriminates. Where can people buy the book and find out more about you? Are you on social media, your website, etc.?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, and the book can be found on Amazon.com. It's also, you can find it on Amazon.in, India, and that's where you can buy the book, yeah.
I love the cover, too, the cloudburst with the storm, and you can see the children in the water there. Who designed the book? And was that your idea, or did you bring somebody in to design that for you?
I got some help, but actually, the guy who's doing the illustrations in the book, his name is Aditya Chari. He's an amazing artist, and I took some inspiration. Actually, the basic drawing is from him, and then I did all the color work and stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Contributed to that. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Raj, thank you so much for joining me today. I loved talking with you. I love learning about your story and how that influenced your book. And I just want to thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Desiree. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. And once again, that's it for us. My name is Desiree Duffy. I'm the host of Books That Make You. I appreciate everybody being with us here today. And if you'd like to discover more, well, that's easy. And you can find us on our website, and that's booksthatmakeyou.com. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram, so you can follow along there. We're always doing fun stuff, too. We have book giveaways. We're always giving away books. We have a newsletter that you can subscribe to. Just come on over and become part of our bookish community. We just like to hang out and talk about books, and we'd love to have you. Until next time, all of my friends, please enjoy the books that make you who you are, and keep on flipping those pages.
The executive producer for Books That Make You is Desiree Duffy. Produced and sound mastered by Phil Giangrande. Engineering by Dave Nabox. Social media and promotion by Bree Sweeter. For more, visit booksthatmakeyou.com.